If you're wondering where to live in Phoenix, Arizona, well, this video is going to save you a ton of time and weeks of research, because over 20 years and over 3,000 homes sold right here in the Valley, well, I've seen it all. From the luxury in North Scottsdale to the family suburbs out in Gilbert and every place in between, including all the local hotspots that no one really knows about, that you would only know about if you've been selling real estate here for 20 years. I'm gonna break it down in this video for you right now. See, there are real differences in Phoenix's top areas, and we need to compare and contrast to make sure you're getting the best ones, but this is going to do the heavy lifting for us. So we're gonna go on a journey all around Phoenix, and we're gonna break down the main areas of the Phoenix area so you have a good idea with one fall swoop where you might wanna live. Okay, now let's get something out of the way right now. Well, Phoenix, it's huge. There are spaces, wide open spaces in many places across the valley. You have the north, you have the south, and you have the East Valley and the West Valley, and they are distinct areas in their own right. You're talking 30 plus cities and suburbs making up the entire greater Phoenix area, with an interstate system that looks a little funky because of the mountainous area. They can't just go in a perfect ring or a circle. So you have loops 101, loops 202, loops 303, and there will be a 404 at some point in the future. I am certain of it. You also have multiple state routes throughout the Phoenix area, from 51 to 87 to 24. Don't worry about that. There will not be a pop quiz on those numbers afterwards. Oh, and don't forget the major interstates of I-10 and the I-17 running north and south and east and west right through the Phoenix area. Now, there's been recent talk about population migration. You've seen it. You've seen the videos, all the negative videos, the clickbait videos that I'm tired of seeing about the Phoenix area. Is the Phoenix area perfect? Absolutely not. And is everything always going to be rosy? Absolutely not. But the negative headlines just to get views, people are smarter than that. These creators on YouTube should know better than that. So we're gonna keep it real. We're gonna give you the no fluff, the good, the bad, and the ugly about what's going on in the Phoenix area on all topics. Let's talk migration. Now, there's no secret that Phoenix's population has been growing over the years, especially since COVID has occurred. From 23 to 24, the net migration to Phoenix from domestic and international migration was about 85,000 people, as Phoenix just barrels towards that 5 million population mark that we're oh so close to. But according to some reports, the forecast come in saying there could be a negative net migration for the Phoenix area by the end of 2025. But is that really true? And a local study by U-Haul will tell you there are more people leaving the Phoenix area than there has been over the past 4 to 5 years. So that is interesting. What could be causing that? But by diving deeper into articles, specific articles from Axios and U-Haul and these other data providers, and not just relying on a simple general AI search, you will find out that Phoenix actually has a plus migration for the 2025 year thus far, and most likely will have a plus migration of somewhere between 0.5% to 1% by the end of 2025. But either way, this doesn't change the fact that people are leaving Phoenix more so than the past several years. Why is that? Well, it is because of one word: housing. See, the Phoenix housing market exploded from COVID on because primarily, well, the net migration from people specifically from California and of course the Pacific Northwest, all these places where home prices traditionally and long-standing have been much higher than the Phoenix area. People came over to Phoenix to get out of their current environment into a more open and free environment, especially for business. And well, they were not afraid to pay extraordinarily higher prices for homes in Phoenix because it was still cheaper than where they had come from. This effect increased the median home price in Phoenix dramatically. In fact, you had an increase of about 30% alone in 1 year, in the year of 2021. So it wasn't until the summer of 2022 the home prices started to flatten out and then actually decrease somewhat from the high of a median price point of $480,000 down to where it currently stands today at $456,000. Now, that increase was a shock to most people who are Phoenicians, who are used to a good low cost of living. But housing drives a huge part of that, and with housing prices skyrocketing for a few years post-COVID, it drove a lot of people to think about maybe leaving the place they never thought they would, which is Phoenix, Arizona. Now, overall, the median home price in the Phoenix area is actually very competitive with the US median home price, just being a little bit higher than where that currently stands. So it still is competitive for most major US cities across America. But again, for anyone who has been here for a period of time of 4 years or more, well, we have PTSD when it comes to knowing where prices were to where they are today. And that is the main reason people are leaving more so to find more affordable housing. If you look at the article from U-Haul, you can see that right now the top 10 places that have the most population migration into the Phoenix area are still California, Texas, Colorado, Nevada, and Washington as the top 5. And on that same article, they give us the origins of the places that are benefiting from the population outflux outside of the Phoenix, Arizona area. Now, the same article gives us the top 5 places where most people are going towards when they leave Phoenix. And those cities are Austin, Dallas, Denver, Houston, and Kansas City, of all places. So enough about the population migration in and out of the Phoenix area. Let's hit these areas quickly so you get a really good idea of where you may want to live if you come to Phoenix. And we have multiple videos on our channel taking a deep dive into every single one of these places. So check those out on our YouTube channel when you're done watching this video, because you want to wait to the end for my bonus tip and the ability to know where to pick up that relocation guide that we're going to offer to you. The first section we're going to talk about today is going to be the central Phoenix area. Now, in this area, we're going to talk about the central corridor. We're going to talk about downtown Phoenix, uptown Phoenix, midtown Phoenix, and the Biltmore area. Who's this for? Well, primarily it's going to be for people who are young professionals or even older professionals, foodies for sure, people who love culture and architecture. These are the people that will want to live in the central Phoenix area. Now, the downside is our homes are going to be a little older, so maintenance and upkeep is always going to be a concern. But the lifestyle, it's going to be incredible. You're talking about walkable areas, trendy restaurants, older homes with remodeled potential, because the historic districts that are down there are beautiful, guys. And fun fact, you actually cannot change the facade, the front facade of these historic homes. If you remodel, you can change the side, the back with approval, of course, and the interior, but the front facade must stay the same to preserve the original architecture from the early 1900s. And again, this is where the city's character lives. You're talking about tree-lined streets, mid-century homes, palm trees, and skyline views of course, the downtown and uptown areas. Now let's go to our next section, which as the crow flies is going to be the Northeast Valley, which is going to include Scottsdale, Cave Creek, Carefree, and Fountain Hills. Who's this for? Well, it's going to be for golf lovers, luxury seekers, and of course, some resort style living in your own personal residence. And don't forget the retirees. Retirees don't have to go to Sun City and some of these 55 plus communities. Many retirees will choose Scottsdale, even though it's not a designated 55 plus community, because of the fact that it's, well, Scottsdale. And don't forget about the little sister to Scottsdale called Fountain Hills, which is amazing because it's more tucked away on the back side of the McDowell Mountain Range. Price ranges, well, they can be somewhat affordable up to very much so not affordable into the 8-figure mark when you talk about places like Silverleaf up in the McDowell Mountain Ranch Canyon that sits just adjacent to DC Ranch. See, North Scottsdale is full of these former ranch parcels of land that have been developed into beautiful, luxurious master plan communities like Greyhawk, DC Ranch, McCormick Ranch, just to name a few. And if you're looking for that desert lifestyle, that pristine desert lifestyle with a dark sky community, well then you want to go to North Scottsdale. We have the preservation of the Sonoran Desert in the front yards in most of these communities so that people can have that experience, and very little street lights throughout these communities as well, giving it that dark sky appeal with no light pollution. It is gorgeous up in North Scottsdale as well as Cave Creek and Carefree. And if you want that Western lifestyle, I mean that really rugged Western lifestyle, Cave Creek is going to be the place for you. Up off Cave Creek Road, again, we have a deep dive on this video in this place as well, but Cave Creek Road is gorgeous. You're talking about old Western bars and saloons lining both sides of the street, and restaurants as well. Talking about bull riding as well, live bull riding that you could actually go sign up for, or you can just watch the professionals while you're having a good adult beverage and a nice meal. So it's a beautiful lifestyle to live in the Northeast Valley if that's the place you're looking for, with the average age being a little bit higher than most other places across the valley, except for the designated 55 plus communities. That one's a little obvious. Now let's go south a little bit to the next section, which is going to be the East Valley. Now in the East Valley, you have amazing award-winning suburbs like Chandler and Gilbert and even Queen Creek. You also have Tempe included with this, as well as Mesa, Gold Canyon, and in the far Southeast Valley, Santan Valley as well. So they do differ dramatically amongst each other. Now, if you're looking for a great family-oriented place to do just that, raise a family and some kids, boy, you cannot beat Chandler, Gilbert, or Queen Creek. They are phenomenal in their own rights, and price points on housing will vary based upon the further away you get from the nucleus of the center of the city. So therefore, Queen Creek, being the furthest one out, is going to have the cheapest price points overall, outside of course, Santan Valley, which is a little bit further outside of Queen Creek. But these suburbs are known for getting around easily with a Loop 202 running through most of them. And of course, you have the grid system where every square mile, for the most part, you're going to have an intersection where traffic flows pretty well and the lights are coordinated fairly consistently with each other to help you get around for the most part. Now, who's this for? It's for families, young professionals, people starting a family as well, people looking for great schools, and potentially a little bit newer construction overall, because the construction in this area of town outside of the West Mesa area, which is not the greatest, is going to be a little bit older there, and because of multifamily units and condos that are older as well and cheaper housing in that sector of West Mesa, that's the one that's going to be a little bit different than most of these other suburbs overall. Okay, now let's move over to the West Valley. West Valley is different. It is a lot different than the East Valley. You're talking about suburbs like Avondale, Goodyear, Buckeye in the Southwest, and as you go up, you're talking about Lynchville Park being included in there, Glendale, and Peoria. Now, who's this for? Well, you're looking for buyers who are potentially a little more budget conscientious and looking for a value play. You're looking for newer construction as well, and there are great places for families to raise their kids out in the West Valley also. Now, the schools overall will not be as highly rated as the schools in the East Valley, but there are still some good ones, and of course you have charter and private school options as well. And again, as you move further away from the center of the city, you're going to have cheaper housing also. But compared to the East Valley, there's a lot more potential in the West Valley because of the growth that will be happening over the next 10 to 20 years. Talking about major companies bringing their businesses and distribution hubs out to the West Valley, data centers and manufacturing plants like TSMC, a $165 billion plant that is truthfully in North Phoenix, which, spoiler alert, we might cover next, but as the effect of the route and the supply chain that will be supporting TSMC that will go down the Loop 303 in the Northwest Valley by Peoria and Glendale. The West Valley is going to explode. The I-10 runs right through the West Valley all the way out to the coast, and there are a lot of companies that are bringing their distribution hubs into this West Valley area because it's a lot cheaper to do so when they are supplying the Southwest or the Western region of the United States with whatever products they are selling. Now, lifestyle out there is going to be a little bit different, but it's also really cool because you have things like the Arizona Cardinals that play out there. You have plenty of spring training baseball, and of course, easy access to Lake Pleasant, which is arguably the nicest lake in the entire state when it comes to recreation on a lake, and that's located just to the north of Peoria. So in the West Valley, what used to be a lot of farmland, well, is booming with population growth and a lot of newer construction and a lot of commercial build out as well, with a lot of jobs, with a lot of things to do. Okay, now let's go up to North Phoenix and now round out the major sections of the greater Phoenix area. So let's talk about North Phoenix. This area is exploding and it's going to continue to do so. You're talking the areas of Anthem, the I-17 corridor, Norterra, and of course Desert Ridge. Now, who is this for? This is for people who are looking for space, scenery, a little bit slower pace without leaving the city and having all the accommodations and convenience of that. Price ranges can vary greatly and they're more affordable as you typically go north towards Anthem. And if you're on the west side of the I-17, they're going to be a little more affordable as well, as opposed to the east side of the I-17. And when you get down to Desert Ridge, well, that is one of the best locations in the entire Phoenix area for just about anything you want to do, from entertainment with the Desert Ridge Marketplace and High Street that is still growing and booming as an entertainment district and job providing district, as well as being located right off the Loop 101 as well as the 51 with access straight into the downtown Phoenix area. The Desert Ridge area is poised to continue to boom over the next 5 to 15 years, and I fully expect that it'll do so because you have so much land around it. And again, just to the east of the Desert Ridge area, you have the brand new facility for the Arizona Cardinals, their practice facility that's going to be a mixed use area with hundreds of acres that not only will have the Arizona Cardinals brand new $200 million practice facility, but you're talking about commercial activity like restaurants and a hotel as well as residential living also. This North Phoenix area is going to explode. And did I mention the TSMC? Oh, I did. And that whole project right now is called Halo Vista. And that is a $165 billion project that is going to set the tone for North Phoenix for the next 50 years with that huge plant that is providing chips that power just about everything you and I use on a daily basis in our lives today. They're building them right there in North Phoenix with multiple fabs coming online over the next 5 years, building out this entire semiconductor plant. North Phoenix summed up is kind of like, well, you feel like you're being in Scottsdale, but with cheaper prices and being connected to the city and all the amenities that it has to offer. So here's some things that you want to consider before you decide where you want to live.
Commute to work or airport, especially if you're in sales.
School district rankings, HOA versus non-HOA communities. That is a very important one. Age of homes, some in the 1980s versus new builds or even older in the 70s and 60s. Those are more rare, but they're out there depending on where you want to live. Property taxes, very low in the Phoenix area. Insurance, that is increasing. And the big one, summer utilities costs. You don't want to discount that. But at the end of the day, the truth is, there's no one fantastic place for everybody. It's not one size fits all. It's what's best for you. So if you have any questions, I would love to take a deep dive with you on your specific situation. Again, it's hard to replace 20 years of experience selling over 3,000 homes in the Phoenix area over my career. And I'd love to put that knowledge and expertise to work for you. So give me a call, 480-660-5974. I would love to chat with you at your convenience. We have people reaching out to us almost on a daily basis, and we absolutely love it. This is a passion of mine. I'm so glad I found YouTube and the ability to make these videos and to share all my knowledge from all these years that I've gained. And I hope you enjoy it too. So to recap my personal picks, here you go. Best for families are going to be Chandler and Gilbert. Best for luxury home buyers, Paradise Valley and Silverleaf in North Scottsdale next to DC Ranch. Young professionals, Arcadia in the South Phoenix Scottsdale border, Old Town Scottsdale, and North Tempe. Best for affordability, well, that's going to be Buckeye, Goodyear, and Surprise. And best for serenity, peacefulness, and quietness, that's going to be North Scottsdale, Cade Creek, or Fountain Hills. Oh, and if you want that relocation guide, check out the description below, click the link for relocation guide, and we'll get it to you right away. And if you want to know the types of homes that you should avoid when purchasing one here in the Phoenix area, watch the video on the next screen.